got to be one of the all-time greatest privileges of our lives working with Steven. It was such an honor. You're made to feel so special by him as well. Just even the fact that he wants to meet you is a great honor, and you want to breathe the same air as someone who has just changed the face of cinema like he has. And yet he doesn't wear that heavily. That is not his front foot, as being Steven Spielberg. He is available and spontaneous and childlike and relentless in trying to chase something to make an audience feel. And you are a part of that process.
Yeah, it's true. It's a bizarre thing to say out loud. You've been in a Steven Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
It's even stranger to be sat doing interviews with him. But then at the same time, he is just the most humble, most kind, generous, excited, curious. It's like I imagine every movie is like his first. He's still so inquisitive. Yeah, it was a dream.
I see them as quite classic Spielbergian characters. I think they're idiosyncratic, they're outsiders. There's a sort of loneliness, a search for belonging. I love that Steven doesn't use elite sort of action figures as his protagonists. That's quite a common theme, people in search of something. And they are very much in search of what they were made for in this world. And they're put through the ringer in this movie, this life or death race towards like uncovering the truth and those that believe it should remain concealed. And yet they're pulled inextricably towards it and towards each other and to this shared history that they seem to have that they didn't know until this disclosure day.
The first time I met Steven, the premise that he told me, it was before I'd read a script. He was like, this is a story about two people who are connected by their past, but they don't know it, and they're being pulled together. And so that was always the kind of the driving force of this movie. And when I first read the script, but also having seen it, it's like a 100-meter sprint. It's like the gun goes off, and we're with you the whole way, and that comes from these two people trying to find each other. It's it's very special.
Well, I think these are questions and secrets and mysteries that have followed us for centuries. And there's been fear around it. There's been fear-mongered around it. There's been a lot of things withheld, shushed down, swept under the carpet. And I think yet there have been these people who are adamant and convinced very peacefully that they've had these experiences, that they have seen inexplicable things that are not of this earth in any capacity. And I think when I started to kind of research all of this for the movie, it just became inarguable that these experiences people have been authentic ones. And so I think that the film explores maybe the injustice that these truths are being hidden from us, and maybe we have an awful lot to learn. I do find it interesting that the common theme amongst every single person who's had an experience, whether it's a fighter pilot or a person on a farm, they have been non-violent, non-hostile interactions. So maybe that's a positive message.
Yeah. I think right now we're living in a very hostile, very fractured world. There aren't many bits of information that we could receive to give the world a bit of humility. And as Emily just said, these visits have been non-violent as far as we know. So maybe there is something we can learn. So I hope that there are things that I think we don't need to know. And I think there are things that we can learn from. So.
Well, the story came to me because when I was making my earlier science fiction films, I needed and trusted my imagination to think of things that perhaps hadn't been done before. And when the news cycle started to shift with more and more people from let's say, the United States Army, the Air Force, the Navy pilots, people in Congress, when they started to release or leak through whistleblowers information that made the incredible almost credible. And that all started in 2017 from the New York Times reporting on the Tic Tac footage that was captured by a Navy F-18 jet off the coast of San Diego. And when I saw that footage, when the world saw that footage, I suddenly realized maybe there's a new way of telling a story about the the clear and present opportunity to disclose what the government or what different deep state contract companies have been hiding from the general public for 80 years. And I started to work on a story that was going to be hopefully a reflection of what someday could really happen, not ever imagining that after I made the film and got the film all ready for release, the government would actually be starting to not leak, but release heretofore never seen UAP footage.
It's the most joyous thing. It truly is. It's like he invites you in to this world to help interrogate with him, to wrestle with it. He's got a plan for you, but he's also very collaborative. I love his questions. He would give you a question that you would think about, and it would help you process how you fit in the world and how you maneuver through it. Because I feel like, yeah, Hugo is a character that think that, like, yeah, there's an urgency, there's a propulsion to the film, and the idea of someone sort of lays back on his heels a bit more, inviting everyone in and trusting that they'll get there, is a very tricky role to navigate. But I navigated, Steven really helped guide me through that. Please, everyone, listen, I'm part of a league of people and artists who say they love working with Steven because of the sets that he has you on, which is joyful and deeply interrogating work. It's open, and he's fun. He's fun.
I like hearing that.
He's a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun.
That.
And he stays. And I love that he's a director who stays with the action. He's got his portable monitor, and he's right there with you. So if you feel like you're really doing something together,
In this day and age, why should something like an actual disclosure day ever be held in abeyance? Why? I mean, it's like we all have the right to know. Mm-hmm. We know a lot of things that we don't want to know, but the one thing we do want to know, we're being denied that. I mean, the government right now is releasing some very grainy and misty footage that doesn't really prove anything scientifically. But what they're saying is we're going to let the American public, determine what this is for themselves. Mm-hmm. And they're not coming out and saying this is what we have been interacting with or who we've been interacting with for the last 80 years. They're not saying that. That would be a true disclosure day. Our film is about a true disclosure day. Some people don't want to know. Some people would like things to go along just as it is, and there's a lot of people who would like to know, and I think they could live with it. I think the danger of a disclosure day would be the ontological shock that would reverberate through different countries, different religions. Certainly, it would test your faith, but at the same time, who's to say? It says, God made the heavens and the earth, but perhaps made the earth, but also made the heavens. Mm-hmm. And we're not alone for certain in the heavens. That's where I'm completely certain we are not alone.
The two characters are just such ordinary men and women too.
They're us.
They're us, and just thrust into this. What I love about this film is, like, if you think that they have the capacity to it, maybe I do as well. And I feel like, that can be parallels to many things, just being open to something else, to something new, a new way of thinking, a new way of living, and saying, okay, maybe this isn't going to disrupt everything. Maybe it's going to make it a little bit better. Mm-hmm.